Welcome to the Knakal News Network. The Knakal News Network is brought to you by Massey Knakal Realty Services, New York's #1 building sales firm.
Hi, I'm Jon Hageman, Sales Team Manager from Massey Knakal. Welcome to the Knakal News Network. Today I'm here with Bob Knakal, Chairman of Massey Knakal, and we're here to talk about positive thinking. So Bob, you always talk about the top traits that you see in successful brokers, and one of them is positive thinking. So can you tell us some reasons behind that?
Well, absolutely, Hags. You know, you have to think positively when you're approaching anything. But often it's the ability to overcome rejection that gets people on track and leads them to success. The quality that we see in folks that really succeed are those who are able to accept that rejection, put it behind them, get up, and go to fight the next battle.
So Bob, tell me a little bit about what led you to develop that thought process.
Well, if you read any of the books on salesmanship, even psychology or business success, this is one of the keystones that's always mentioned. And you know, Paul and I have always been good friends with Barbara Corcoran, who's somebody that we admire and respect quite a bit. And Barbara came in and talked to the company a few weeks ago, and one of the questions that was asked to her was that what was the #1 trait that she saw in the people who were the most successful, and she said unequivocally that it was the ability to get knocked down and get right back up. And to go on. Use an analogy of baseball, right? You know I'm a big baseball fan. I love my Yankees. But a great hitter in baseball only gets a hit 3 out of every 10 times that they get to the plate. In real estate, I think the numbers are very similar in some ways, in that, as you know, when we go to meet with clients to try to get business, we get hired about 31% of the time. So on an equivalent basis, our batting average is about 310. But if you look at the broader picture, in the sales sector, we know that the long-term average of the number of properties sold out of the total stock in the market is 2.6%. And I would say that on average, about half the properties that are put on the market actually sell. So that means that 95% of the time, the person that you're speaking to, who's a property owner, doesn't have any interest in selling. If you don't have the perspective that every time somebody says no to you, you're one step closer to a yes, you're going to get dejected, you're not going to want to make that next call. In fact, Winston Churchill said that success is often going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm.
Going from failure to failure and rebounding is a little easier said than done. What are the other techniques you utilize or things you tell yourself to keep going?
Well, I think one of the important things is to realize that every lost opportunity or every failure is actually an opportunity to learn from it and to grow from it. It was Dr. Wayne Dyer that said, with everything that's happened to you, you can either feel sorry for yourself or treat what has happened as a gift. Everything's either an opportunity to grow or an obstacle to keep you from growing. You get to choose.
So by having the choice, you're saying the power is really within us.
Absolutely. I mean, it really comes down to free will, and that's one of the things that I think is the most powerful thing that human beings possess is free will. So you could decide that you're going to look at a failure or a setback as something to learn from and grow with. You could decide that you're going to have a positive attitude, you're going to think optimistically, you're going to see the glass as half full instead of half empty. And I think putting yourself in that mindset and making yourself believe that you're going to succeed is something that ultimately will allow you to get there. In summary, a positive mental attitude is something that we see in many of the top producers in our industry. Commercial real estate brokerage is a business in which the odds are against you. Keeping this in the proper perspective is important. Knowing that you have the free will to decide how you're going to react to setbacks is something that is very empowering.
Thank you for joining us today. Tune in next week for another installment on the Knakal News Network.